Hello, 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 and welcome to Plan With Me, doing my April bullet journal. But first, let's look back at March. Now, in March, I went with sort of an Art Nouveau, Art Deco type feel to it. I stuck with the color palette of purples, yellows, greens, white, of course, and gold. Gold and purple were the main colors. So now let's go ahead and jump over to our April, getting that layout done. We're going to start with the cover. I decided I wanted to do markers this month. I didn't want to get out all the paints and the gouache because I'm already doing gouache on the Pantone cards, and I'm doing watercolors sort of alongside those. So I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I just got my watercolor markers out, and these are the Tombos. Dual tip markers, and what I'm doing is I am doing a layer of the light sort of yellow orange, and then coming in right in the center and doing a little bit of the dark orange. And then you can either take a clear colorless blender and blend those two together so that there's no harsh edges to give them a nice faded effect at the edges, or you can use the lighter yellow orange over it and you'll just get a little bit darker tone of the lighter yellow. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the next flower, and it is going to be a pale pink first, and I am just doing that really pale pink on all of the petals. And then I'm just going to go in there with a darker sort of reddish pink, sort of a bright pink around the edges in that center part, in the center edges. And then I'm going to blend that out. Now I am sticking with a really bright color palette for this month. It's yellows and hot pinks, or really pale bright pinks, and sort of turquoise blues. It's really a bright, almost Eastery palette, even though Easter it was in March. I'm still going with this color palette. I just love it. It is bright. I am ready for spring. I am ready for the flowers, ready for it all. So I did that on each one of the flowers, just doing the light layer first, and then coming back in the centers, putting some dark marker down, and then blending it out toward the ends of the petals to sort of blend it out. So that is the technique there. There's really nothing to it. You're just coloring. This is so simple, so fun and easy and simple. You're just coloring with your markers. And this is, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, this is marker paper, and I just cut it to the size of my bullet journal page, and I'm going to glue it into my bullet journal. The reason I put it on this marker page is because I like to scan it in and I don't want all of those little dots from my bullet journal on the background that I would have to remove in Photoshop. I'm not going to do that. So here you see I'm getting this finished up with the pinks. And I like how this is coming out. It's really bright, and it's exactly what I had in mind. Usually I don't really get exactly what I have in mind. It doesn't always translate onto the paper, and that's fine. But this time it's coming along exactly like I kind of envisioned it. Now I've just got a nice sort of yellow olivey green, and I'm doing the stems and some leaves and just coloring those in and just following my design that I have sketched out. And again, these are just really bright spring-like colors, just beautiful colors. So I'm going to let you watch this just for a second, and I will be nope, I'm not going to come back because I just changed colors to my sort of blue-green, sort of turquoise, and I'm going ahead and I am coloring out the leaves with that turquoise sort of blue greenish color, and that adds another pop of color in there. I really like it. I know some people will not like this color scheme, but I love it. I absolutely love it. These colors, they just make me happy. Now I am just coming back in with some of that light green over that blue green just to sort of blend those together, give it a little bit of shadows, and also so that it is kind of unified. I don't want my little blue green leaves just sticking out there being blue green. They don't look like they belong to the stems, so I'm adding some of that sort of olive green in there with them. Now, if you would like to get the outline drawing and the supply list for this and for all of my layouts for my April bullet journal, then consider joining my Patreon at $5 a month in the Dabblers level, and you'll get all of those things. Plus, you will get a high resolution JPEG of this April cover that you can print out and put in your own bullet journal or frame for art or whatever you'd like to do with it. So I just thought that I'd let you know about that. I'll link it below in case you're interested. Now I took that lighter turquoise and I colored in the word April, the month's name, and now I'm outlining it with a deeper sort of turquoise green, blue green, whatever you want to call that, just to give it a little bit more definition. Then I'm adding just a little bit of detail work in there with that darker green pen. And I'm using the bullet tip, not the paint tip, the brush tip, just so I have some sharper, a little sharper lines. So now I'm taking a pale blue and I am just going to color in the background to the April in a sort of a long rectangle. Now I'm going to let you watch this for a second and I will return shortly. Now once you get all of that colored in, let it dry a little bit because you don't want your colors to sort of smush together with the black. I just took that dark green and outlined the box for April, and then I'm taking a fine black liner, and this is a Wahoo, you know what I'm talking about. But you can use whatever fine black liner you have as long as it's sort of waterproof. And I am just going to outline all of these flowers, all of the leaves, just outline everything, give it a little bit of definition there, and it gives a little bit more of a graphic quality. You don't have to outline yours if you don't want to. If you choose to do this theme, it's completely optional, completely up to you. I always encourage people to paint their paintings, do their drawings, whatever piece of art they're making, the way that they want to make it, and make it really their own. They don't have to follow me, for every little step. I highly encourage you to venture out on your own and try new things and experiment. That's what makes art special and unique. So now I've almost got this completely outlined, and we were going to go on to our next step after this. So we have our cover page finished, and what I'm going to do next is just put it into my journal. I'm going to glue that in there with double stick tape, and I also took a corner rounder and rounded those corners. I didn't show it on video, but it's just a little corner rounder to clip those off. Then I decided, instead of a quote on the opposite page, I was just going to do some more flowers. I did it directly into the journal. I will have the outline drawing for this. If you are a patron at my Dabbler level, you'll have all of the layouts so that you can outline them or put them in your own journal just to follow along as a guide, whatever you need, for that $5 a month. And you get a lot of other premium content as well, a lot of other bonus content. It is really a good deal. So with these, I am doing the same exact technique. I'm doing the lighter color down first, doing the darker color in the center, and then blending that together so that it's softened up and it doesn't look like harsh magic marker or harsh marks there. They're softened up and sort of pulled out toward the edge of those petals. So I'm going to let you watch just a little bit and I'll return. I'm also doing the leaves the same way with that sort of olive green or bright yellow green, whatever you want to call it. I'm just doing the leaves, a few stems here and there, just to sort of fill in some of those empty spaces and to add that pop of color. And then I'm coming back with that turquoise color and just adding some shadows in there on those paler green leaves, and that gives it just a little bit more dimension, plus it incorporates that color scheme together that we have from the April cover photo. So I'm still trying to keep everything incorporated the same colors into this area as I did on the other opposite page. Then of course we're going to outline everything. I'm also adding just a little bit of line shading around the center of the flower, and I'm also doing just a little bit on the edges of the flower. Again, you don't have to outline it if you don't want to. You don't have to add the line shading if you don't want to. You do it the way that it makes sense to you and that you think it looks pretty. Now, once you get all of that finished up, then we are going to go ahead and start on the monthly layout to put our month in there. I've already sketched it out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a monthly to-do list, and it's going to be a tip in. And so I'm just going to measure that, cut it to the right size so that it goes right up to the edge of the calendar. I'm going to glue that into my bullet journal so that I can flip it out and have a little extra space to write my monthly to-do list and some notes, maybe even important dates. I'm just trying this. I saw another creator do this, so I decided I would give it a try this month. And so far I like the design. I also scored it so that I could glue it in easily on that one little edge. I'm also taking my corner punch or corner cutter and cutting the corners rounded so that it matches my bullet journal. And got glue on my table. It's okay. So now I have a nice little area. On one side I can put my to-do list, on the other side I can put notes. But like every month I have a certain things that I do every month, certain content that I create every month. So I can have a master list of that right at the beginning of the month so that I can look and see what I need to do to accomplish all the things I want to accomplish. And right beside of it in the other column, I can just write notes about it or go into more detail about what things that I might need to do. So that's something I'm trying this month. We are still sticking with that same flower, almost tropical feel theme, same technique. And I'm just enjoying this so much. I hope you give this a try. I really like the idea of the tip-in to-do list for the month. So I will let you know next month how this worked out for me. Now, as I was coloring this, I decided I wanted to introduce maybe a little bit of a darker reddish pink to it. So I just drew some little flowers back there behind these bigger flowers and just colored those in with sort of a reddish pink, and then I outlined them with a dark sort of wine color or burgundy color, and then gave them a little dot in the center. And I like that. I like that addition of the color. I almost wish I had done it on the cover, the April cover, but we didn't, and it's okay because I still love my April cover page. I really like it. Then I decided to incorporate some of the lighter turquoise with just like tiny little flowers, maybe like the size of baby's breath or something like that. And then of course we are going to outline, just because I like the graphic nature of it and how it looks. And I felt like it needed a flower up here on the top edge, just to sort of balance out some of those flowers down below. And of course we have to give them leaves and vines and stems and all the things. And then down below, once I got that one outlined and did all the little line work to that one, I decided to come down here. I'm just going to keep April in the same color family that I did on the cover page. So it's that lighter turquoise in the center, and then we're just going to outline it with the darker turquoise using the bullet tip of the marker, just to, help it stand out, give it some definition, and kind of clean up those edges a little bit. I didn't do anything fancy like any kind of, I don't know, what do you call it, any kind of ombre or anything with my word April. I just did it solid. Now I am, of course, just hand drawing in all of the calendar lines and boxes. I'm not using a ruler. I'm not a big ruler person. It sort of slows me down. And I'm just going to color in the top part where we want to put the dates, whether that pale blue that we used for the background on the cover photo. And of course we're going to stay with that pale turquoise for the days of the week, and then outline them with the darker turquoise. And then just write in our days of the week, of course. And then up here, that is our to-do, and the other one can be our notes or content or whatever you want to put on it. And I'm just going to write that. And then, of course, do the lines as well. So now I did this in white. I decided to pull those flowers over onto the tip out box, but the white was so pale they just kind of got lost. So I'm going back over it and lining it with a little bit of black marker. And I like that much better. Now you can leave it blank if you want, but I just decided it needed a little something. And I started with white, but it just didn't go. So here we go. Let's go what we've got. Now next week or soon I will show you my weekly layout, but for now we just got the cover page and the calendar done. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. This has been Art with Viv, and I hope you are successful on all your art endeavors.